Imagine spending decades building your peace, your routine, and your sanity, and then throwing it all into chaos because someone swept you off your feet. Crazy, right? I'm about to tell you 5 brutally honest reasons why getting a girlfriend after 50 or 60 might be the worst idea you could ever have. And these aren't just theories. These are truths most people discover too late. If you're over 50 and thinking about dating, pause. Think about your freedom, your peace, your health. And if this hits home, share this with someone who needs a reality check before diving in. By the time you reach 50 or 60, you've spent decades building your life the way you want it. You've learned what routines make you feel good, what habits bring you energy, and what spaces give you peace. You wake up in the morning and your day is yours to shape. You decide when to sleep, when to eat, where to go, how to spend your money, and who to spend your time with. That kind of freedom is priceless. It's not just the ability to do what you want, it's the mental clarity that comes with knowing your life is fully under your control. When you introduce a girlfriend into that world, it's no longer just about your choices. Suddenly, someone else's wants, needs, and schedules become part of the equation. What you used to do effortlessly now requires negotiation, compromise, and sometimes even sacrifice. Simple decisions like what movie to watch, where to eat, or even how to spend a weekend turn into discussions that can feel draining. You've spent years perfecting your environment and your habits, and now, almost overnight, it can feel like everything is shifting to accommodate someone else's preferences. Even the smallest routines, the little things that bring you comfort and structure, start to change. And it's not just the physical adjustments, it's mental. You have to anticipate moods, manage expectations, and navigate emotions that are entirely new to your carefully balanced life. Freedom at this stage is a form of happiness in itself. You've learned that waking up without an obligation to anyone else, being able to spend time exactly as you choose, and keeping your schedule aligned with your energy and interests is a form of self-respect. Losing that freedom doesn't just affect your daily habits, it chips away at the peace you've worked decades to build. At this age, the cost of compromising your independence can outweigh the benefits of romantic connection. Maintaining that autonomy, protecting your routine, and keeping the space you've carved for yourself is not selfish, it's wise. Life after 50 or 60 is meant to be enjoyed on your terms, and surrendering that freedom for a relationship often comes with more stress than it's worth. By the time you reach 50 or 60, you've spent years understanding yourself, your emotions, and what keeps you balanced. Life has a rhythm now, a predictability that brings comfort and peace. You know what triggers stress, what situations drain your energy, and what makes you feel grounded. This emotional stability is something you've earned through experience, mistakes, and reflection. Introducing a girlfriend into your life at this stage can disrupt that balance more than you realize. It's not about her being difficult or wrong. It's simply that emotions are contagious. And now there's another set of feelings, expectations, and moods influencing your daily life. Arguments that might have seemed small in your younger years can feel magnified now because your calm has become a valuable resource. A disagreement over something trivial, a forgotten message, a difference in routine, a miscommunication, can suddenly become a source of tension that lingers far longer than it used to. You've learned to protect your peace, to avoid unnecessary drama, and to navigate life in a way that preserves your energy. When a new romantic partner enters, even with the best intentions, you are often pulled into emotional currents you didn't anticipate. You might find yourself explaining, adjusting, or worrying in ways that were foreign to your life just months before. Emotional labor becomes part of your daily routine, and what used to be quiet satisfaction now feels complicated. Even the highs, the excitement of connection, the thrill of attention, come with lows that can hit harder than before, because at this stage, stability is sacred and disruptions are more noticeable. Your happiness is no longer about chasing passion or novelty. It's about preserving the calm and predictability that support your well being. Protecting that stability is not about avoiding connection. It's about understanding that at this age, maintaining mental and emotional balance can be more valuable than temporary companionship. Stress, anxiety, and unpredictability that come with a new romantic dynamic can slowly chip away at the serenity you've worked decades to create. And that's a price many find far too high. By the time you reach 50 or 60, you've likely spent decades building financial stability, learning how to manage your money, save for the future, and make decisions that protect your lifestyle. You've worked hard to create security, and it's not just about having money in the bank. It's about peace of mind. You know that life can be unpredictable, that health, family, or unexpected expenses can appear at any moment, and you've structured your finances to handle these situations calmly. When a new girlfriend enters the picture, even with the best intentions, financial demands start to appear in ways you didn't anticipate. Dating isn't free. There are dinners, gifts, trips, and outings. And at this age, they're no longer just casual expenses. They can become significant and recurring. You may feel obligated to contribute more, to match expectations, or to maintain a certain lifestyle that isn't aligned with the careful planning you've done for yourself. This can introduce stress where there was none, slowly eroding the sense of safety and independence you've built. Beyond the immediate costs, there are often emotional costs tied to financial decisions, guilt when you don't spend enough, pressure to overextend, or anxiety about maintaining appearances. At 50 or 60, the stakes feel higher because mistakes are harder to recover from, and a disruption in financial balance can affect more than just the moment. It can impact your retirement plans, your freedom to travel, or your ability to take care of yourself and loved ones. Your money isn't just currency, it's freedom, choice, and autonomy. Allowing it to be tied up in someone else's expectations can quickly turn a source of comfort into a source of stress. The reality is that financial independence and security are some of the most valuable assets you have at this stage in life, and protecting them often means avoiding situations that risk unnecessary strain. Romantic relationships can introduce unpredictability, compromise, and pressure into an area of life you've spent decades stabilizing. And for many people, that cost far outweighs the benefits of companionship. By the time you reach 50 or 60, you and everyone around you carry decades of experiences, relationships, and histories that shape who you are. These years have left you with habits, preferences, and ways of thinking that have been tested and refined over time. You've also experienced heartbreak, disappointment, and loss, and those experiences influence the way you approach life, love, and trust. When you consider dating at this age, it's important to recognize that any potential partner is coming with their own equally long history. Past marriages, children, unresolved conflicts, financial entanglements, and even old resentments don't simply disappear. They exist in the background, shaping reactions and expectations. Combining these layers of history is rarely smooth. What might seem like a minor disagreement could trigger a deeper, long buried emotional reaction because both people are carrying decades of accumulated feelings. In younger relationships, you might have tolerated these conflicts as part of the learning process, but at this stage, life is no longer about learning. It's about maintaining stability and enjoying the fruits of your experience. Emotional collisions are more frequent because patterns that formed over a lifetime are deeply ingrained, and compromise becomes harder when habits and expectations are well established. Additionally, the presence of children or ex-partners can create unexpected stress as boundaries and loyalties are tested. Every interaction has the potential to touch old wounds, and even small misunderstandings can escalate into conflict that affects your peace of mind. The result is that at 50 or 60, dating often comes with a level of complexity and emotional labor far beyond what many anticipate. What could have been a source of joy can quickly become a source of tension, requiring energy, patience, and flexibility that you may no longer be willing or even able to give. Protecting your emotional space and enjoying life without the weight of someone else's decades-long history is not selfish. It's a way to preserve the calm and balance that you've worked so hard to build over your lifetime. At this stage, past baggage is heavy, and carrying someone else's along with your own can make a relationship feel less like connection and more like compromise. By the time you reach 50 or 60, your health becomes one of the most important assets you have, and maintaining it requires awareness, balance, and care. Sleep patterns, energy levels, blood pressure, and overall vitality don't respond the same way they did in your younger years, and small stresses that once felt trivial can now have a significant impact on both body and mind. Entering a romantic relationship at this stage introduces a level of stress that is often underestimated. Even if a partner is loving and well-intentioned, the emotional ups and downs that accompany dating, expectations, misunderstandings, conflicts, and the constant effort to navigate someone else's needs can create tension that your body feels as acutely as your mind. Stress hormones rise, sleep can be disrupted, and even minor health issues can be exacerbated by emotional strain. The excitement of a new relationship is accompanied by uncertainty, and for someone at 50 or 60, uncertainty can be exhausting because life has taught you to value predictability and stability. The mental load of maintaining harmony, managing emotions, and adjusting to new patterns requires energy that might otherwise go into exercise, hobbies, travel, or simple daily routines that keep you feeling strong and vibrant. Over time, this added stress can erode the health and stamina you've worked to protect for decades. Beyond physical effects, there's also a psychological toll. Anxiety, worry, and even guilt over decisions within the relationship can subtly chip away at peace of mind, leaving you drained and less able to enjoy the very things that make life enjoyable. At this stage, the link between emotional stress and physical well-being is undeniable, and the risk of compromising either is real. Protecting your health means preserving your energy, reducing unnecessary drama, and maintaining routines that support longevity and vitality. A relationship that introduces repeated stress, no matter how rewarding it might seem in moments, can slowly undermine both your physical health and emotional resilience. For someone who has worked decades to maintain well-being, the cost of that stress often outweighs the fleeting joys of romantic involvement, making health preservation a far more practical priority than companionship at this stage.